Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast. A warm welcome to all of you. And after a long time, we're gonna do it again. Yes, it's that time of the year when we do the book ranking, the power ranking of all the books that were active during the span of last 4 months. You heard it right, from May to August, May, June, July, August, that make 4 months. So we're gonna be talking about the ranking of choices books in the span of these 4 months. And to be honest, let's just take a moment. Like last year, it was a bit odd in choices. I know pandemic and a lot of stuff started happening from 2020, but this year, well, all I can say is that there is more content in choices. I started off with Wake the Dead, Crimes of Passion, then Untamable, then Immortal Desire, Cursed Heart, Princess Swap. It's just keeping on going and going, and now we have Murdered Homecoming and Phantom Agent in the upcoming months. And bear in mind that all the book ranking is from as per the wide release schedule, meaning the books that were active as VIP during this time. I'm not gonna take into account those books because the books that we've all read, I mean, we're all eligible to read, let's just say, as a non VIP or as a wide release book. Only those books I have counted in here. So let's get started. We'll start from number 7 because we have 7 books, 7 active books we had in the last 4 months. And let's check it out. So at number 7 we have Slow Burn. Now it's a number 7 here just because the list is packed with good books, and not even that. It's also that the other books that are here, the other 6 books, they have had at least more than 6 chapters within these 4 months. Hell, some of them have completely been released within these 4 months. But with respect to Slow Burn, we've only had 2 to 3 chapters of this book so far. It's a good book, America's most eligible style book, cooking competition. We have 2 love interests, Yvette Everett and Julia or Julian, and you can race customize, gender customize them. MC is customizable, pretty ideal situation. So far, Yvette is a little more to the plot, but you have equal option more or less. So this is a pretty good book. The cooking competition type, if MasterChef shows and Restaurant Impossible, these kind of shows are right up your alley, then this is the book to go for. And it's a pretty good competition based book, no nonsense, clearly plot based. A good book, I would say. Basically, it reflects the old times in choices, like all the books we used to have prior to this mud train came. So if you want to have an experience of that, a taste of that again, Slow Burn is your go-to book. It's a pretty good book, I would say. So it's number 7, but don't worry, it will improve in ranking when more chapters come in. The real twist comes in. I don't know what it is, but we'll have to wait for it. But so far for this past 4 months, it's number 7, Slow Burn. Let's get to the chase. Number 6, the Princess Swap. Princess Swap, we read in this past 4 months, and I think it's fully released now. And it's a pretty good book. I mean, when you start the book, you pretty much guess what the plot is going to be about and how things are going to go. There are 2 princesses. They're not 2 princesses, one princess and one ordinary girl. They look alike and they swap places. They live each other's lives in each other's shoes and enjoy the other part of life that they weren't used to or never lived. And it's a pretty sweet, romantic, a rom-com book. Like I said before, you probably can guess the main plot with the father and everything when you start reading. Like there gotta be some connection. There gotta be the twins, but you still read it because you like it. Clark and the Daisy as Princess Rose, that scenes I really liked, but Devin and Daisy, they were also amazing. So we have a different point of views, which is a pretty amazing feature of this book. We have seen in Surrender POV switch. We have seen in Across the Void POV switch. But the POV switch we had in this book, the Princess Swap, it was something amazing. And I quite would say if they do more books like this where we don't just see from certain characters' point of view, but we can see from a lot of characters' point of view, and the time is equally distributed, and it's not like one chapter from their perspective and the next chapter from another's perspective, but it just moves back and forth depending on what scene is on. That was a pretty damn good strategy for this book, I would say. Gameplay. So number 6, Princess Swap. Again, it is not a bad book per se, but this is the month, the last 4 months. I don't think any book is that bad per se, but all the books are quality books in the past 4 months. So let's move on. At number 5 is the Nanny Affair Book 3. And yes, for the first time in my ranking, the Nanny Affair way above than the bottom position. And the Nanny Affair Book 2, even the people who really liked it, they felt it was a little downer. Nanny Affair Book 3, I haven't really come out with my thoughts about it, but I would make some videos on the first impression. I'm going to just say it here that when Sam's dead wife came back, the reaction Sam should have, how does it feel like? Choices should have captured that. The emotional wreckage Sam should have felt or Sam should have been. I think they ignored it and kind of maneuvered their way across it. I think that was a bad strategy. At first, it could have been more drama if they had included it, and with the MC, Addison, ex-wife, new loves, how Sam feels. We could have had some scenes from Sam's perspective. I think they missed the charm there. Instead, they just went on for usual hookup scenes, first 2 chapters. But this book definitely has more drama than the last book. Like later on, you have lots of twists. Jenny and Aditya, their marriage, their love story, or whatever you want to call it, affair. Last book, we sort of guessed it could happen, but what could happen from here on? Lots of dramas. We have the influx of dramas. That influx is pretty good later on in the book, even though the start, in my opinion, could have been better, but it just gets bit better than book 2 as you go on with the dramas and everything. So I would say people who are looking for drama, twists, jaw-dropping revelations, character, past enemies, this is the book to go for. And I would say it's pretty good, And we have read so many chapters of this book this month, in the past 4 month period. So it definitely deserved the number 5 spot, and it got that. The number 4, hot, steamy, cowboy romance, Untamable. Now, I hate to do this, in this ranking, like I said before, all the books are best at some point, but when you compare them, Untamable in and of itself, it's a pretty good book. It's a country book. A lot of people said it wouldn't be as interesting because you already have Big Sky Country. Even the poster looked like that. But this is quite a different story. It's full of smut, Even some people claim that the smut is even more smutty than Nanny Affair Book 1. But I would say there was a really interesting point to Untamable, and which is they really build the relationship between MC and Kit. Yeah, there were sexual touches. There were a lot of here and there stuff, and some maybe a little incoherent stuff, but I would still say Untamable is one of the best steamy novels choices have on their library. Even with the small town vibe, they didn't throw away the family aspect, like Austin, his story, and how it all binds the family together. Austin, Kid, our main character, and above, beyond, betrayal, love, passion, saving the ranch. It all comes to a full circle. And the way it ended and the book 2 announcement, I think it could have a lot of potential as a book 2. We'll talk about that later, definitely. But Untamable, the passionate, smut, romance, a good steamy book, a good read, I would say. Because not a lot of steamy books are that good. Like, there's a difference between steamy books and straight up sex scenes. Like if you write bunch of sex scenes, bunch of hookup scenes, and you just publish it, it's not a steamy, you know, it's not a steamy novel or something. And like, you're not making novel. Like there is even art doing the steamy scenes and maintaining the book. And I think this was the perfect combination, except few exceptions. But yeah, Untamable, it's number 4, but it was a really really good book that I read this year. The number 3, it might shock a lot of you, but it's Crimes of Passion. Look, after a long time, we had this book. It was in the works for a long time. Laws of Attraction was announced after this, but came out before this, to be honest. So, the thing I was demanding from Laws of Attraction from very start, that I want the mystery, I want the drama, like the real crime from the get go, and this delivered. Like when Crimes of Passion came on, people like me who really liked Wake the Dead at the time, I even said that Crimes of Passion first 2 chapters indeed were way 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 better than the Wake the Dead first 2 chapters. Like what a chapter that was. We start off with a bang, with a murder. We go on, no time waste, no nonsense start. And then the love interest chemistry, it was a perfect book. It still is a perfect book. Like we juggled a lot of things, like in Veil of Secrets, The Unexpected Heirs. We were just focusing on one mystery at hand, but here we had the main mystery, the heartache killer. We had Tristan's home mystery. We are also seeing some of the things about our past life, our dad's killer, here and there. There's some links. So we're juggling a lot of things, and we have an amazing group. Luke, our boss, Mafalda, the agency people, and of course the forensic. Who can forget her? So this is pretty amazing group we have. Luke, Ruby, Mafalda, even if you adopt the dog. So it's gonna, and Tristan, a charming love interest. And again, choices really worked well on the love interest main character bonding, because I think this is a perfect book where we have equal amount of romance and equal amount of plot. And at first, the romance is even optional. You can even turn it down. So a really really ideal pattern to follow in future plot based books, I would say. And Tristan, I don't think I've seen a good chemistry between a main character and love interest like this before. It's a pretty amazing thing for me. Even though I think the way they executed the main mystery at the end, with the heartache killer, there are some questions still left for me, like why this happened or how did it go. I think could have been a bit more clearer with how the main mystery worked out. I think that's just still a little off for me. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's a pretty good book, all things considered. But the main mystery, the heartache killer, the Sanjay Dharma's death and everything, I think after finishing even, there are some questions left. Like why was it like that? Yeah, like all the things, and it kind of felt like Veil of Secrets redo sort of the fire. Again, you can save someone, you can get the documents. The Duffy scenario. It kind of felt like a deja vu of that, but like apart from that, it's a pretty good book. Crimes of Passion number 3. Okay, so far of the 10 chapters or 11 chapters of Immortal Desire were out. So based on that, I have put Immortal Desire at number 2. I mean, it's one of the perfect vampire books we have. It was not easy to work for choices, I guess, because we already had a successful vampire franchise, Bloodbound. So I think they did a pretty good job with mainly, the main focus being the two hard-headed vampires are fighting against each other to have us, Cass and Gabe, and one is the good girl, good boy, the other one is the bad boy or bad girl type. So then we find out there's a vampire in this new place we've moved on, and our mother is digging into some killings that vampires definitely have something to do with, and two strong coven leaders don't want our mother digging in it, and we have managed to strike a package deal, and we have said that we will sort of keep our mother from looking into these murders and persuade her to not dig further, and in return our mom and our both of our lives will be spared. And in an amazing adventure we find out what the vampires have to offer, their amazing ability. We can have some vampire blood to fight, to rock climbing. We can do it on our own. We can get some vampire helps, cool abilities. We can do a lot of stuff, and two contrasting part of the two love interests that we can enjoy. Gabe, the cold one, not cold, sorry, pardon me, the secured one, the good one, who always looks after you, who wants to be taken care of, goes above and beyond for you, and you feel safe around them. And on the other hand, Cass Harlow, who is totally opposite of what Gabe is, but one thing is common about them, that both of them want to protect us. We know Cass is a vampire from very start, and Cass basically, we should be vulnerable with Cass, but we don't. Whenever we were alone in the forest early on with Cass, we know we were the vampire. Cass could have killed us, teared us open, but we were feeling safe with her also, or with him, with Cass. So that writing, the different chemistries, showing the jealousy between them. I think it's a pretty good book overall, the vampire book. So far, what I've read, it's a pretty solid book. But we will see how it ends, and the end half, 5 or 6 chapters left for non-VIPs now. So where does it fall in ranking for the next 4 months? Well, that will be determined by the next few chapter release. But so far, number 2, Immortal Desire. Okay, get ready for this. Number 1, The Cursed Heart. I mean, when I first started reading this, they said like it's gonna be a BDSM book. I thought okay, and it started off like that. Fae reality, the magic, fantasy. It was there. Kind of like Blades of Light and Shadow. But we see like okay, the ruler of Moon Court, Kieran, they're taking us. We can obey them, we can disobey them. There's some options, BDSM options. You can choose them or not choose them. It was going, yeah, we're learning about the Moon Court, the magical creatures, and then we see that about the curse, like Kieran is the beast who was chasing us, and then we find out about the curse, about the heart, and then you have to go after them and find the hearts. You see Kieran, we love them perhaps, then Kieran thinks that Kieran can have their feelings back. Kieran wants to release us, but we say we'll help them. We find out that we have the final heart piece inside us, and then we go to the Sun Core to find a cure, and then we get betrayed by Radiance. We can show some affection to Radiance before that, and then they cast some spell and sort of makes us a pawn, so that it feels like we're betraying Kieran to put another fearsome curse on Kieran, and Kieran gets doubly cursed this time. Kieran stays beast, and there's an emotional wreckage roller coaster there. Everybody in the Moon Court, Longclaw and Sir Montgomery and Longclaw, they think that we have betrayed them, and we just see dreams. At first we thought we're connected with Kieran with the dreams because of our heart pieces, but without the heart piece we're also connected. What is going on? Why we were the one who got the first heart piece in the well on the first place? Like there's a lot going on. At first I didn't think this would attract me so much, but let's just say as I kept reading past chapter 8, past chapter 11, past chapter 12, it became like intense, more intense, more intense, more intense. I don't know, like super amazing book choices have come out of it. How it started off, I never could have imagined. When they said it's going to be a BDSM book, I thought, okay, it's just a gender customizable surrender. But oh wow, that's what they say. I mean, personally for me, this is for me the perfect example of how a book can be done with twists, turns. Yeah, Radiance being the villain, it was probably not that, tough a nut to crack, but still, how it was executed, like execution is pretty important, So execution was amazing. And then all the things you've learned, the emotional wreckage, with Kieran. It's not just about going for hookups, sexual scenes, but you bond with the character when you have been given emotional, you go through emotional hardness together, and we have that with Kieran. The longing to be with her, but then feeling like we're betraying them, the pain and all these things, and the curse when it feels like Kiran won't make it, who was supposed to outlive us. Now we're gonna outlive Kiran, watching them die or knowing that they will die, fighting for them and feeling powerless. A lot of emotions are clashing when you think about it. And Curse Chart, no doubt, for these past 4 months, it is my top buck. And this will change perhaps in the next 4 months because the competition will be a little tattered. Murder, Homecoming, Phantom Agent, more Immortal Desire chapters, so slow burn more chapters. But May to August, the crown goes to the Curse Chart for me. Well, that was my power ranking list for the past 4 months from May to August 2022 for all the choices books that were active during that time. So, by all the means, do let me know in the comments below that what is your top 7 books, or if I missed any books that were active during these past 7 months. And what do you think about these books? Which one is your favorite? Which one you die for? And what you're looking forward to for the next 4 months? But more ranking videos are yet to come. I'm going to do one on the love interest and something more. But also some review videos are yet to come for past week. A lot of chapters were there. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Let's talk there. I cannot wait to interact with you guys and know about your opinion and your thought. So I'll see you in the next video and in the comments down there. Till then, peace out.